How would you like to make your base invisible on the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft, 2b2t.org? You're probably thinking that sounds crazy. And it is, but make no mistake, if you follow all of my steps from this video, you can make an invisible base as well, and many other things using this exploit. First though, I know a lot of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content and also like being invisible, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, or even consider a membership, if I've gotten them working yet, that is. With that out of the way, in order to help you understand how this base is invisible, we will take a quick tour. And then after that, I will explain what is happening. We will start this off in a cave, where you will start to see the weird things begin to happen. Don't worry, the invisible base is coming. But first, if you look at the sand on the floor, it's shivering. It's not even cold in here. That's weird, right? And I also can't place any blocks on the ground. Take note of that effect. This is due to the same effect that will allow us to make an invisible base. Next, we can see flowers on item frames coming into the render distance. Flowers definitely aren't part of the desert biome, and this bridge is, well, odd. Moving along, and more flowers and a floating cactus. Have you put together how our base is going to be invisible yet? Okay, we are getting closer to the main base, and there are more flowers. Moving south a bit further, and it should finally start to come into render distance. If you haven't gathered, the entire base is made out of map arts, which have been turned into textures from Minecraft, even using netherite. On 2b2t, maps and other entities only render in at about 2 to 3 chunks away from you, and the terrain can render in at about 4 chunks in each direction, which makes it look like the land with the build is empty until you get right on top of it, making it essentially invisible. It disappears as you go out of render distance again. The whole concept for this project is the result of originally wanting to do a base with custom textures by using map arts. But around a year ago, I learned of an exploit that could potentially allow me to make this map art base without any other blocks involved. You see, in vanilla Minecraft, you need to have item frames attached to another block. Otherwise, they fall off. What we've managed to do here is to create what is called a block 36 by using an exploit and then attach the item frames to this block 36, giving it the appearance that it is floating. Well, a block 36 is a moving piston arm. It's a block that you can only make in creative usually. It's like a transitional state block. In short, you're not supposed to be able to use it on 2b2t. As I said earlier, this exploit was originally brought to my attention several months ago during a Fight Club event at which a friend of mine made an arena using this exploit. And over the course of several months, this exploit was tested in various ways to accomplish the task of creating this invisible build efficiently. But firstly, I had to create many more map arts of block textures to use a bit of diversity in building. So I got to work on that, making map arts for the netherite texture, the oak texture, the glass texture, and the 2b2t logo that I used for the flag, and then various others that I didn't end up using. I also used the texture that shows when you have not unlocked the map, as well as a nearby ocean for some blue color in the build. Part of the creation of this block 36 that we would put the map arts on involved using end crystals. So, needless to say, Using these high explosive items around item frames would make it quite difficult to build. This is where Sanku comes in. He was able to create a module in a client called Prism that allowed us to be able to not only see, but interact with this block 36. So we could now make whole walls of the exploited block 36 and put the item frames and maps on whenever we wanted to. And as many times as we wanted to without making the block 36 disappear. This greatly increased building speed, and I was able to finish the rest of this build up within a couple of months. This exploit also has many other crazy effects that are able to be done with it. Some of which are able to create floating cactus, which are made by placing sand on the block directly above the block 36 exploit. Shivering sand, which is done by letting sand fall through one of the block 36 entities. Also having the ability to create floating water as well as cool air pockets in the water like Sanku did. One of the other things you can do is create highways out of block 36 that only people with a custom client can walk on, which was done to a small extent by Sanku. You also can make it so people can't use end crystals, which effectively stops the most deadly form of combat on 2B2T. Another effect of the block 36 exploit is that it lowers the surrounding light intensity. And something else that is quite useful is that mobs do not path through the block 36 entity. So even though the block is invisible and you can go through it, mobs generally will not unless they are dropped onto it or through it. The last, but also one of the most useful parts of this build is that it serves as a dupe stash, as you can safely keep full shulkers of gear stored in item frames, and in the same way as the base, they will be nearly impossible to find unless the person is right on top of it. The reason I am now leaking this exploit is that the exploit recently went more public and is now likely to get patched. The nature of this build makes it so that once this exploit gets patched, the build itself will be griefed. That is because the item frames will fall off. So I wanted to make sure that this build was able to be showcased as it is completely unique to 2B2T. The exploit involved pushing powered pistons into daylight sensors, then blowing them up with an end crystal from above, then destroying the back part of the piston that remains. This would leave the piston's arm detached. Then you could crouch and click an item onto it, thus creating a block 36 in that location. So think about it. For the castle that you saw that was built out of map arts and block 36 entities, it's almost like that base had to be built several times. Even though it's smaller in size, it definitely took quite a long time. As of today, it still stands, and if you find it, you can get all of the leftover loot that's still there. So what do you think? Is this something that you'll try on another server? Is this something that you've done before? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks to SankuGG for all of his help on this. I would not have been able to complete this without him. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I also appreciate anyone that is able to help out by clicking the join button if it is available. It helps out a lot with these projects that take ages. I have certain projects that have even been going for years and I have not released yet. And I do have another project video dropping very soon, so keep an eye out for that. So with that in mind, thank you for watching and good luck on staying hidden on the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft.